The Conventional People's Party on the verge of crashing with just 4 months to the 2016 general elections. Pockets of clashes characterize the reinstatement of some suspended party executives Monday afternoon. But the reinstated executives are blaming the NDC of manipulating their leaders to behave in this manner, adding nobody can prevent them from entering the party's premises to perform their duties.
Let me sound this warning. The youth of our party and indeed the country will not be gagged. We would continue to fight against corruption. And this is also to Asiedun Ketia of the National Democratic Congress.
With less than 5 months to the 2016 elections, some political analysts say this will affect the fortunes of Ghana's oldest political party, the CPP. We'll be hearing from the CPP and also gauge the mood of some political analysts on this matter. This is today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim.
They have no locus, they have no focus, they have no legitimate right to prevent us from entering the party grounds.
Controversy abounds as the suspension of the CPP's General Secretary and National Youth Organizer has been deemed unconstitutional by the party's disciplinary committee. This means that Nyama Konfra and Ernesto Yeboah have been reinstated as spelled out clearly by the committee. But the Central Committee of the party, led by National Chairman Professor Edmond Dele, has rejected the committee's report, and this has ballooned into clashes between the followers of the reinstated officers and some armed men stationed at the party's headquarters. We can listen to the General Secretary of the party, Nyama Konfra, one of the men at the center of the controversy, plus some response from the communications director of the party.
Well, I encountered thugs at the party gate seeking to prevent members of the party from entering the party grounds. I had it before I even went to the party office, contacted the Nima police as a district police to ensure that we have a right to enter the party grounds, and they had escorted us to the party grounds only to be met by thugs at the party gate, some of whom were seeking to be very violent. And I think that, you know, the country is governed by a rule of law. And I'm glad that having escorted all of us here to the Nima police station, the district commander has ruled that we cannot be prevented from entering the party grounds. Okay. Certainly the people who were seeking to prevent us from entering the party grounds.
So you just stepped out of a meeting with the DSP for the Nima district. Was the meeting between yourself and those who were trying to prevent you from entering?
Indeed. We were quite happy to sit down with them, and we wanted the law to be upheld, and I'm glad that the police have upheld the law. They have no locus, they have no focus, they have no legitimate right to prevent us from entering the party grounds. And so the patrol will take us back to the party office so that the law is enforced.
This morning there was a little brawl among members of the party. Some group, the general secretary suspended, and then the youth organizer were in the party office here in the morning seeking to enter into their offices and hold themselves as such, as general secretary and youth organizer of the party. Other group of the youth league prevented them, saying that they have been suspended and they are still under suspension. And they
were there thugs here?
Come again?
Were there thugs here? What we usually call macho men?
There's nothing like
because
that.
I can see some men
these
standing.
These are party boys.
Okay.
Yeah, these are party boys. And I would even want the media to even apologize. When you do this, you make the case, you know, bad. No, because these are no thugs.
I appreciate, and that is why I'm taking your side of the story, because that's what I was told.
Wonderful. So first of all, let's start by correcting the impression that there is no tag here. There's nobody. They are all party boys.
Okay.
and they were seeking to prevent. But we went to the police station, and the police resolved the matter that it is their right.
Okay.
They can enter into the premises of the party just like any other Ghanaian, which is okay. We don't have any difficulty with that.
But when I came and I saw the police officer in charge who came with the delegation telling you that he didn't want you to make situation worse because you had already agreed that they should come in, and so you shouldn't prevent them from entering their office. Can you clarify that? What exactly?
They are not prevented. They can enter into their office. Who is preventing them? Do you see somebody telling them not to enter into their offices?
When we came in initially, we saw that.
Who is the criminal? You. We are here for peace. Oh, look at.
My interview has been interrupted because someone just walked in and accused someone of being a criminal. It's quite a scene here at the CPP headquarters. And let's move on to what we were talking about. We are wondering, why have they been suspended?
They have been suspended because of misconduct. And we have said this time and again that they misconducted themselves. They have actually given bad image and impression about the party to the public. And that is why we are suspended.
But is this not creating more of a bad image than what you consider a bad image?
That is where we get ourselves, and then we have to resolve. It's a struggle, it's a party, and then human organization. You will definitely have forces of thesis and antithesis. The NDC have their own problems. The MPP have their own problems. So if the CPP also has its own problem, it will be resolved with time. So this one, I don't think that you can make any serious, noise of it, because actually the truth is that they have been suspended for gross misconduct. The gross misconduct is that the General Secretary, the constitution of the party has said that he takes directives and instructions from the national chairman and leader. So now the youth wanted to petition, the Shraj, and then he gave them the authority to go and petition Shraj. The constitution has not given him any such power, and for him to take any such rule, it actually is an insubordination. It's actually a gross act of misconduct. When you do that, it's an act of indiscipline. So the party is taking steps to ensure that the constitutional order in the party is protected.
We'll also hear from the party's national youth organizer, Ernesto Yeboah, but let's do some analysis now. Ernesto Yeboah, actually is blaming the NDC. He's talking about the president, he's talking about the NDC general secretary and other people who are influencing and manipulating their leaders to behave in this manner. We can speak with political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Evans Agridako. Good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Hello, Mr. Agridako, you're on today's big story. Well, on the other phone line is David Agbe, who is a governance expert with GIGS. Good evening to you, David. Thanks for your time on today's big story. I think we're having problems with our line. We can listen to the... Hello, David Agbe. Good evening to you. You're on today's big story. We can listen to Ernesto Yeboah, who is the national youth organizer of the Convention People's Party.
Let me sound this warning. The youth of our party and indeed the country will not be gagged. We would continue to fight against corruption. And this is also to Asiedun Ketia of the National Democratic Congress.
How does he come into all of this?
I'm coming. And to Kwesi Pratt, that if they want to be General Secretary of the Convention People's Party, if they want to be chairman of the Convention People's Party respectively, then they must use the appropriate channels. They must resign fully from the NDC, come to the CPP, take forms for membership, and when they are admitted, later when there is a Congress, they can file their nomination and hope to be voted for. This advice goes for Mr. Mahama as well, that they cannot seek to be in one political party and control another political party.
What are you accusing them of?
Young people in this party, and indeed in this country, are sick and tired of the impunity. See what happened with Jida. See what happened with Sada. Talk about, how do you call it, our money with isophoton, that the court instructed the state to go for it. Have they taken it?
Okay, sorry. Ernesto, with these things you say, warnings to the president, warnings to the General Secretary of the NDC, Kwesi Pratt, what exactly are you inferring here?
I am saying that, and they understand the language very well.
No, but for those who are watching, they want to understand what exactly you mean.
They understand that if they want to exercise legitimate control on the Convention People's Party, then they should use appropriate, because the youth of our party are not going to sit down and allow anybody, not in the NDC, not in the MPP, not in any other political organization or in an organization, to seek to, as it were, direct the affairs of our party. Now tell me, is this party acting independently? I mean, even gauging by their actions. We have 4 months to elections. Is this how an independent political party ready to seize political power, behaves? It is very clear that our party is under the control and instruction of an external force, and I am speaking to the paymasters.
And who are the paymasters?
I'm speaking to Kwesi Pratt, I'm speaking to Asiedu Nketia, I'm speaking to President Mahama, and indeed their Ahoy brothers, that they should stay off the Convention People's Party. We have suffered, we have sacrificed, we are not going to allow the Convention People's Party to be reduced into, how do you call it, any of the products that they have sought to produce in every election year, right from year 2000.
But Ernesto, these accusations you make, I hope you have evidence for them. Because to sound warnings like this, you need to let people understand that what you're saying has a basis. Otherwise, why then would you go on such a tangent?
I am hoping that you would call them. Let them respond to what we are saying.
But you are alleging, you must prove.
Of course, but let them respond and let's see if
you are alleging, sir, so prove.
Now, let's make the point. Is the Convention People's Party independent by the way it is behaving?
You are in it, tell me.
I mean, how come an opposition party launches an attack or criticizes, the candidate of another party, and then we are punished for it? How?
So let's do some analysis now, and I have Dr. Evans Agredako, who is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana on one line, and on the other line is David Agbe, who is a governance analyst from GIX. I'll start with you, Dr. Agredako. Good evening to you, gentlemen. Dr. Agredako, the CPP has been seen as a third force in the past elections. Do they remain so, especially with this internal violence, which doesn't look like ending now?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. Well, the CPP addition, and therefore, if they are able to get their acts together, they are able to deal with the cleavages that exist within their ranks. They are able to deal with some of these personality clashes, among others. And individuals within the party are conscious of the fact that any serious organization by laws, and that there must be hierarchical conformation. You cannot live within an organization and prosper and allow the organization to prosper and endure and be able to hold its own within the system if individuals within there would not want to live under some minimum laws. Every serious organization has some standards. What somebody like Max Weber describes as hierarchical conformation. So the hierarchy ought to be respected. Any individual who thinks that he cannot live under any authority cannot make progress in life. It's as simple as that. So if the individuals within the party are oblivious of the fact that the party's hierarchy ought to be respected, then that's too bad. And that is why, human beings, we are not angels on earth. And that is why within the governance architecture, we build into it a set of checks and balances. That's fundamental. And so I think that those cleavages ought to be dealt with. The wranglings, internal wranglings ought to be dealt with. Individuals within the party must submit to some minimum authority. And that even if you think that you occupy a certain position, certain pronouncements which have the tendency of rubbing in the whole party must be cleared. You understand? And that is the way to go. And of course, you would also expect that if individuals decide that they will undermine the processes that have been laid down, minimum sanctions ought to be applied. Otherwise, it becomes an open sesame.
But these gentlemen were referred to the disciplinary commission, and indeed the disciplinary commission has cleared them to go back to their positions. But the chairman of the party and they seem to be divided over this, and they won't just allow this gentleman to go about their duties.
Well, I'm not privy to the reports and the key findings, but what I know from organizational development is that, look, if you put in place a committee, you are not bound by the recommendations of this committee. There have been instances where even in the University of Ghana, the whole university has decided that, look, we give these people a job to prosecute. We are not happy with the conclusions they have drawn. We rubbish the report. There have been instances where we've decided that the university has decided that, look, these conclusions will not really deal with the issues that we've asked these individuals to deal with. And therefore, even though we consider it a waste of money, a waste of our time, energy, and resources among others, we say that, look, we would not be bound by the recommendations. So, well, it doesn't necessarily mean that if those conclusions have been rubbished, the party still has a hierarchy. And I think that the party will still have to go back. I don't know the mandate of the committee. I don't know what resources were put at their disposal. I don't know the type of terms of reference that they were giving, and whether indeed they really exhausted all the processes and opportunities and other things that were available to them, and indeed whether they availed. I mean, took the people through the due process and so on and so forth. So these are the specific. I don't know whether the party is still conscious of remaining relevant, or the individual actors in there are self-conscious of the fact that they ought to remain relevant. If they ought to remain relevant, then it is important that some interests ought to be relegated to the background, and the overall interest of the party perhaps may have to predominate, may have to trump other parochial or other selfish interests.